Anton, you new
I
here.
don't know if
You new here. That's
that's
not how I get down. I'm sorry. I respect you. I respect your content.
I'm only going by what it is that I see you saying right now, and it's directly tied to feminism. Even an example that you used with regard to the Black Lives Matters movement, that was a group of Black women lesbians that then took advantage of a marketing opportunity in order to continue to push an agenda based off of what corporate America was trying to champion. And you can't tell me that these organizations aren't smart enough to be able to realize who's behind a certain movement and whether or not they want to support it. Directly tied to that, the civil rights movement itself was hijacked by feminism, which was then hijacked by the alphabet community movement, which they then tied everybody in. Why you're starting to see Black and brown. Birthright citizenship itself was never meant for everybody. It was meant for American descendants or African descendants of slaves, but now we're using it and leveraging it, and the ones that's promoting it the most is women. If you want to see where a movement is going, all you have to see is women. Women, Black women in the community is largely the ones that are controlling where the vote happens in the urban community, and they are the ones that are the most vocal on social media. So if you're telling me that it's not directly tied to feminism, and that this whole empathy movement, the whole support of illegal migrants inside of the United States of America, that they didn't hijack it, even when they was trying to market why we should vote for Kamala Harris during the last election, and celebrated and talked more about my body, my choice, more about the things that wasn't relevant to the Black community. And when they finally started to communicate with Black men and ask them what they wanted them to change family court laws, which is directly tied to how it is that we're being impacted in single motherhoods, is raising men that ultimately aren't really a fabric of what it is that we want or the model of what we want men to be inside of our communities. If that's not all directly tied, if you're telling me that the separation of families, that they marketed certain people to be tied to the Democrat Party based off of the fact that they knew that separating families or removing fathers from the household, and that they didn't update family court laws, even though they were established at a time where women had less choice. If you're telling me that that's not directly tied to what it is that we're looking at politically, or what it is that we see happening from an immigration perspective and who we supporting, then I would tell you that you're running away from the real issue, because if you want to solve for an issue, you got to get to the foundation of why we're here in the first place. It is directly tied to feminism. Everything is interconnected. And so I can't ignore it, because when I see people say, I want a partner, not a husband, and they're making decisions on behalf of their family, then I know that that is the foundation. That is the culture. The culture is the thing that we celebrate the most in the community. It's not what we think it is. It's not our history. History and culture, a lot of times we get that mixed up. It all is interconnected. And when I see them marketing an opportunity, they're not marketing it to you, they marketing it to your wife.
No, I think you misunderstand what I'm saying, right? And this is, my comments have nothing to do with trying to appease anybody. What I'm saying is you reference a number of different political issues. And we could go through each one of them, and I'm not going to do that. And I could say, okay, if I wanted to give each one of them a score and to say, which ones I think are most directly impacted by feminism, out of 100, I'd say, okay, the state of the Black family, that's a 99. I may say a lower score for something else. If I really want to get at the root of the immigration problem, I think that this is largely a bipartisan issue. The left likes more illegal immigrants in the country because eventually they see that we're going to have more people to vote for us. Mm-hmm. The right is open to more illegal immigrants in the country because they think we're going to have a source of cheaper labor, which is why.
But when did that switch? When did it change?
I'm not sure when it changed, but it's been like that for decades now.
This wasn't an issue between Democrats and Republicans. If you go back and you look at footage from the mid to the early 90s, Democrats were saying the exact same thing as Trump. As a matter of fact, there's footage out there of Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi specifically saying, literally word for word, some of the same things that Trump is doing today.
Right. They were saying it. They were saying it, but they weren't legislating it. And we've
absolutely were legislating it.
We've had advocates
for closed borders.
We've had several presidents who have talked tough on immigration. But again, because one of the policy things that any president could choose to do, and Congress could certainly pass, is to say, look, we're not just going to enforce this at the border, which we should, right? Because if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. Just like if you don't have a front door to your house, you don't have a home. Mm-hmm. But we're also going to enact enforcement on employers. So if
I want to stop it for a minute and play some clips because they're getting warmed up, they're cooking or whatever. And to me, I feel like, Obama's administration sent more immigrants and migrants back to their country than any administration, more than Donald Trump. And Anton is right. This wasn't a Republican thing at one point in time. You know, Donald Trump was also a Democrat at one time. So he's taking those same similar ideologies and applying it to his administration right now. And I don't know why these people even think that just because the border is open and everything that I don't understand it, because other countries, like, you got to have a passport, you got to have a certain amount of time to be there, or you're gonna go to jail, or we're gonna send you back, or something is gonna happen. Like, what happened and what transpired to make our borders so easily accessible like that, man? I think that's a problem. I think that war can happen on our country and everything because we got so many people over here illegally. But I'm gonna play a clip of this lady saying how she feels about, you know, the role of black people in the LA immigration riots. I think she can say it better than me.
Hispanic community, we do not stand with you. Let me tell you something. If you came into this country illegally, you must go. If we went to Taiwan, if we went to Asia, if we went anywhere in the world, the first thing they're going to ask us for is our passport. The second thing they're going to ask us is how long do we plan to stay. The next thing they're going to ask us is for our email. The next thing they're going to ask us is for the address where we're going. And if we stay a day longer than what we're supposed to stay, they will drag us out. Drag us out. So you coming over here, breaking through the borders, looking for black people to come turn up and all this kind of stuff. We stand together. No, 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 no. Y'all looking for black people to come out to loot, to riot, to tear up. We will not destroy our communities. And this is a message to the black community. We will not destroy our communities. We need our stores. We don't need our stores looted in. We do not need things being broken in. What do we really have left, y'all? This is a real crazy time in the economy, so it's not really a time to just be rebuilding. People don't have billions of dollars to rebuild things that Hispanics are tearing up. Y'all making it look bad for y'all entire community. Your time of free money, healthcare, free housing have come to an end. I'm sorry that Joe Biden misled y'all. I'm sorry that Kamala sold y'all the American dream, but baby, it has come crashing down and it's time to go. Do not destroy our communities. It is hard enough for people to rebuild now. Get your bags and get to stepping. Go back to your country. Doing all of this destroying and tearing up and burning cars, at the end of the day, you still have to go. I hope that you don't think this will grant you a legal citizenship, because it won't.
If anybody want to react to that clip also, I got a couple of more also. I want to play something from this sheriff in Florida, that what he had to say about the situation in Los Angeles. But I agree with everything that that woman said. I don't doubt nothing that she said. Everything that she said, I actually appreciate it. But one thing I want to say to Hispanic individuals and Mexican individuals, I'm cool with a few of them. Very cool. Got a good relationship with a few of them. It ain't a person's nationality that I'm concerned about. It ain't a person's race what I'm concerned about. You know, people getting away with illegal activities and being concerned about how they being treated when they doing things illegally is crazy to me. You know, you saying they separating our children. You knew you was doing something illegal. Like, America isn't a country that isn't based upon laws, rules, and regulations. So at the end of the day, if you ain't abiding by those rules, then you're gonna be separated from your family. And that ain't even just for illegal. That's for a person that's legally over here. Like, if you doing something illegal, you hustling or you stealing or you're robbing or you're committing crimes, you're gonna be taken away from your kids because you're gonna be in jail. That ain't just for illegal. So really, I can't be sympathetic when you know what the laws is, or you should expect what the laws is. Like, before I go overseas or whatever and I use my passport, you know what the first thing I do? I read what's laws over there, because it's so free over here in America that when you go somewhere else, drinking out of a plastic straw might be illegal. It's just different, man. Real talk. And you got to be aware of it. What's good with you guys? Talk to me, man. I really need to know your take too, fam. Like, me and you had a decent text thread today on Instagram talking about Dame Dash and Jay-Z, but I would be very appreciative to know your thoughts about what's going on in LA, because you are a brother who grew up in that environment with Latinas and Hispanic people. And to me, I think that black people don't have no place in this fight. We don't have no, it ain't up to us, man. It's up to y'all to do what y'all supposed to do. But I would appreciate it if you called in and educated me, my brother. But I played the black woman's perspective. I want to play what the Mexican guy had to say.
Get this straight, just so I could clarify it. You don't want to go back to Mexico. You're protesting to stay away from Mexico. But you're waving the Mexican flag and you're waving it with pride. You're waving it in the United States, the country you're trying to stay in, the country you don't want to leave. But yet you're waving the Mexican flag with pride. Okay. That seems normal to you? That seems logical? That's not stupid at all? None of that's stupid. All right. You guys are an embarrassment to the Mexican culture and to the United States culture. You guys are an embarrassment to everybody around you, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
You know, that's the first thing I noticed though. Like when I was watching the videos on CNN and Fox News, because if people don't know my political stance, I'm an independent. So when I look at news and I read media and everything, I try to read both sides to see what perspective they're giving so I can understand what's really going on. Because if you're just looking at one side, you're going to be one sided. If you're looking at both sides, you're going to understand the whole. That's just my perspective and my opinion on it or whatever, though. But that flag, when they was waving the flag on American soil, I was looking at it like, they waging war or something. It felt like a war because you're not legally over here, but you waving your flag. You know, if we was in another country with 500-600 of us waving our flag, we might not be acting in violence though, but waving our flag, it seems like a way of war, waging war to me. Hold on. Yeah. What's popping with my dog guy? What's good with you, fam?
What's going on, Brody? What's going on, man?
Man, I'm appreciative that you had the time to call in, man. Like, I know you from out there, fam. So your perspective is valued. Just what's your thoughts on this whole thing? Do you think? Just talk to me, fam.
My perspective, man, in watching, and I've just been watching, and I've been calling family, seeing what's going on here and there and stuff. It's peaceful. It's peaceful protest that's going on, but this is not our fight.
Yeah, most definitely.
I tell people that this is not our fight. I was just on. They was doing. They had a live going on TikTok. And people had valid reasons why it's not our fight. And like I tell people, they don't really fuck with us. Excuse my French. They don't.
Talk it, fam. Talk to us.
They don't really fuck with us. So at the end of the day, we told y'all what would happen if y'all voted that way. Y'all voted that way. So therefore, y'all got to stand on it.
Yeah.
They told y'all got to understand this man. He showed y'all his hand, and y'all didn't believe him. We told y'all what he was going to do. Y'all didn't believe us. So now here you are.
Here's the reality.
So now here's the reality of it. So now y'all have to deal with what y'all put in place. It is what it is.
Most definitely.
And we're not fighting with y'all.
Yeah,
we're not. It's not our fight.
No. Thank you, fam. I'm glad you agree with that aspect of it because I see some people agreeing with it, fam. Like we supposed to be fighting. I understand the black and brown thing in Los Angeles, but the aspect of the situation being illegal, I don't understand that. Like fighting with I don't even rock with people of my own that's doing anything illegal.
Right. What makes you think we're going to condone what the hell y'all doing? Just because y'all out here making a life for yourselves don't mean that it's okay because you're illegal. You're still an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're not even supposed to be over here. What you're doing is you're taking resources from somebody who actually needs it.
When you seen the flag being waved, what was your thoughts when you just seen how they was representing representing in America with the flag? My perspective of it, I thought it was a war. I know it might be peaceful and everything though, but you want to be over here, why you waving your flag though, fam?
Because they don't have no common sense. No common sense. Like, it didn't register to you that you're in America waving the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
And if you're not supposed to be over here, then go home. Go home. And if you want to come back the right way.
Facts.
That's it.
I just don't understand it. Now, let me ask you something too. I ain't trying to kick you out the phone because I love your perspective and I want your perspective. I don't know if you was busy or whatever though. But
no, I ain't busy.
Like the jail system in California, you know, it's segregated in jail. They ain't fighting with us. To me, I feel as if you went to jail, you ain't get ready to be standing with people that's the Hispanic race or whatever.
No, you can't. It's against the rules in jail. Mm-hmm. They stay with the Latinos and Mexicans stay with Mexicans and Latinos. Mm-hmm. Blacks stay with blacks. Whites stay with whites. That's it. That's code.
And who they gonna side with before they side with the blacks? I know that
they're gonna side with themselves.
They gonna side with their Aryan Nation, fam. That's who I think. Yeah. That's what I think out in California. I couldn't be a black man and go to jail in California. That's a nightmare, fam.
See, and a lot of people don't understand. That's why even with gang culture, like in California, like, bro, there's so many dynamics that you have to deal with just in living out in the open. Mm-hmm. Imagine going to jail and the politics and the dynamic that you got to deal with being part of a gang. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, man. I couldn't imagine that or whatever though. And I feel as if the people that's legally over here, that's a part of the Hispanic race or whatever, they voted majority on Trump's side because they don't even want the illegals over here.
Right. Right.
I think they sided with Trump because they don't even want their own people over here. So the country
they don't
become what their country is. And it's a few of them saying that their country is even better than, you know what I mean? They vouching for Mexico, but they over here though. It's just it's an interesting thing to see that the leadership in California is. What do you think about the leadership in California, first of all? Or was they doing a good job and Trump came in and did something unnecessary? Or do you think they was doing a bad job and Trump came in and did what needed to be done? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is, bro, like growing up in Cali, like, I mean, like it was some parts of Cali, bro, when I went back home last August, bro, they had shit all down the streets and all down the main roads, bro. Like it looked crazy how they had shit set up out there. Mm-hmm. Like you couldn't even tell Broadway was Broadway. You couldn't even tell Century was Century. Like, bro, it was crazy. It was insane. Yeah. So to me personally, like I understand they was out there trying to make a living, but it was never that bad. Yeah. It was never that bad. So therefore, I mean, you have to come in and do something. So you got to come in and do something.
Yeah. I agree. To be honest with you, fam, I feel as if Gavin Newsom and the mayor, I forgot the lady name. I don't even want to call her black because I got checked for calling her black on the last show. One of the callers called in and put me in complete check of that lady, Mayor Bass. He was telling me her race and everything. I think that they let it get out of hand. I think the Democratic Party is trying to portray that they're empathetic to people that's less than, when in our reality, they trying to get these people in here so they can maintain power. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, but guess what? You can't vote if you're illegal.
Or can you? I'm not aware of that, fam. You
No,
can't.
you
Okay.
can't.
Okay.
No, you don't got any papers. You're
Yeah.
You're basically undocumented.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's no document, no, nothing on you.
Yeah.
You can go out here and try to get it. I mean, you'll probably go out here and get something fake,
Mhm.
probably, but nobody knows. Your name probably Hector, but you ain't Hector.
Yeah. You not documented like you were saying. Hey man,
Right.
this crazy, man. You know, did you hear that clip from the sheriff in Florida? What?
Oh, about if they get out of line, they're gonna shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't blame them,
You know.
bro. We don't have time for no games, yo. Like, this world is already crooked.
Yeah.
If you seen what they was doing in L.A. with just demolishing stuff for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, this is the same city y'all claim y'all got to stay in. Or do y'all even stay here?
I don't understand. They don't care. They don't care if it's junky because that's what they're coming from. It looks better than what they coming from, so they ain't used to what LA used to be or what LA is capable of being. I got two questions for you that you sparked my attention about this though, but to me, LA, one question, but I just want to make this analogy. To me, LA is one of the most beautiful cities in the country because it has mountains and ocean. I don't even know another city that has mountains and ocean at the same time like that. But the question I want to ask you though, fam, is what are they gonna have to do and what can they do to clean the city up by the time the Olympics come? The Olympics supposed to
What
be
they
in
got
LA in 2028,
in
right?
2028? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What they gonna do and what they're gonna have to do? They're gonna have to shift some stuff around and move some people around. So now you can hop on the train and get to the airport now.
Yeah.
They just
LAX.
opened up the Metrolink. Yep, to get to LAX. You can hop on the train and get there now. That just opened up last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're doing things, but they're moving too slow
Mm-hmm.
because you have to move fast. Because the slower you move, the more people
Yeah.
you will gravitate to them places. You got to start cleaning out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they did in Charlotte, like they did uptown.
Yeah.
You know, they cleared all that out, and they got them. I don't know where they put them, but they not there no more.
I know where
Kid City
everybody.
not there no more.
I know where everybody
You
is in
know.
Charlotte now, boy. They up in that university area, clustered, boy. I'm trying to tell you.
Oh my God. See, yeah. So they gotta do something with that.
Yeah.
You know, I hope they get it together because at the end of the day, you know, I mean, if you in California and you can't afford none, of course you're gonna be homeless.
Yeah, that's sad, man. And they probably
It's
got
horrible.
they got a city full of homeless people. Last time I was in LA, man, it tripped me out to be able to see Skid Row.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown
Mm-hmm.
LA, they got 5-star restaurants. Then you got people laying on the
Oh, the chick. Yep.
yeah, on
Yep.
the concrete
Mm-hmm.
right there with blankets and shit, man. But
Yep.
yeah, they gotta tighten up, fam. I highly appreciate you always showing love and always sending me information and everything, fam, to tap into.
Always, bro.
Appreciate your time,
Always.
God. Thank you so much, fam.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one, man.
Yes, sir. You
Yep.
too. Man, that was my dog, Guy Jackson, tapping in, man. This shit crazy though, dog. It's really crazy. If anybody else want to give their perspective on what is the role of black people during the LA immigration riots, I would appreciate it if you called in. But I want to play this clip of this officer in Florida and what he had to say. You know, Florida boy Jay talked to me about this, and I'm gonna put a link in the description to his channel also. But he talked to me about this. It's a lot of brothers in Florida that I communicate with, man. My boy Rob at Water Guy TV, Florida boy J Doug, man. Salute to all three of them brothers. They doing their thing. They got dope content, and them boys standing straight on business. But I want to play this clip. Where has these officers been? What does these officers have to be able to speak like this?
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County,
Hold up, y'all. I apologize. My dog called into the show, man. I think he called into the show. What's popping with you, fam?
What's up, fam? I'm just checking you out on YouTube. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm just tripping off of these. What's going on in the country in totality, fam? That's all.
Man, it's crazy, man. But you know, to make change, you got to go through some of what we're going through. You know what I mean? Because it sometimes it gets perceived worse before it gets better, right? And so the immigration thing that got out of hand, man. So it's not that, you know, you're not telling people to come to America because America's a great country. That's the reason why people want to come here, because of the opportunity, et cetera. But you got to do it by the law. There's a way for you to come here legally.
Yeah.
Just go by the law.
Facts, man.
I don't understand why people. I don't understand why people are tripping on that. I had posted today that Obama he literally was doing and saying the same thing Trump was saying back in 2015. If you go to my Facebook, I shared the clip. Literally the same thing. So it's like, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. And he deported more illegal immigrants than Trump had even in Trump's first term.
Yeah. I just said that too, fam. He
okay.
Deported. No, I said it way earlier in the show. We about 50 minutes in though, but he deported more immigrants than any president ever, Barack Obama. But now Trump want to do the same thing. It seems like it's a problem that's something that he's trying to do.
But it's showing you though that Obama did it 10 years ago, and we're still going through it. So it's getting worse. You get what I'm saying? And so, the bad part about it is Mayor Bass and the governor of California, Newsom, they're actually okay with illegal immigrants coming in here. They don't want them to go nowhere. They have even opened up Medicare and wealth and healthcare and social service payments and stuff to illegal immigrants. Now, illegal immigrants can't vote, but they can still get a government assistance, not federal, but governmental assistance through the state of California. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy, fam. That's
crazy.
If for somebody that is they want to help somebody that's illegally over here with assistance.
Illegally.
But they don't want
with taxpayers' money.
Yeah, that's crazy, fam. The highest tax state in the country, California.
Man, look, California is a beautiful state, but it might be one of the top three, if not the most beautiful state in America.
Yeah.
But what they've done to it, from the political side, when bank is going bankrupt, Hollywood is going to New Mexico and Canada. Tesla moved out of there. A lot of the tech firms are leaving San Francisco, coming to Tennessee and coming to Texas. What they're doing, man, what they're doing in California as a whole, bro, it's ridiculous, bro. They're turning that into a bad place. San Francisco and LA are going to be so bad in 10, 15 years from now, because the homeless going to be took over, the drugs going to be taken over, and now the big money people that took their money out of there, and they coming this way. Meta is building their AI facility in Monroe, Louisiana. Elon Musk moved Tesla to Austin, Texas. He's building his AI plant in Memphis. Amazon is building their AI plant in Ohio.
Apple coming to Raleigh.
They're not putting the money in Silicon Valley no more. If you're the governor of California, you gotta say, "Oh no, I don't want none of y'all to leave. What do y'all need to do to stay? Let me cut the taxes on your corporate tax." And they didn't do that. And look what it's becoming.
You cooking, fam.
And everybody say, well, California used to belong to Mexico. Well, that's true, right? But if you know, I was in the military, so I understand the military history, right? If you go back to the Bible, bro, in the Old Testament, right? That's what this world was built off. We took land from other people, the Israelites, the Canaanites. It's always been based off war, and I possess your land. So in Mexican War in 1846, 1848, we won the war. So we took Arizona, we took Nevada, we took New Mexico, and we took California.
I remember
it's the same thing. It's the same thing that Russia Ukraine are going through now because of the war. Russia had won that land. Ukraine never turned it over to them. I'm assuming Putin said, before I die, I'm getting this land for my people. And that's what he's doing because it was his. You know what I mean? Well, Russia took that land via war. That's just how this world is made up of. Hey, when we go to war, we possess your land. If you lose, or we have a treaty or whatnot. Man, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy to me in Americans that we got people that are protesting for people that are committing illegal crimes.
That
could never happen to a black man in America, bro.
That's wild. You said a black
bro.
man get caught with an 8-ball, they want to give him life.
That's crazy to me, bro. And I seen this and said, man, what if I snuck? Like, so first of all, I know I can't go to Mexico without a passport, right?
Yeah.
And my clearance, right? So what if I intentionally, not accidentally, but I intentionally, not deceitfully, but I intentionally snuck into Mexico, right? I get welfare, I get health care. I walk around Mexico City waving my American flag, can't F the cartels.
Yeah.
Then I burn the Mexican flag on their land, right?
Yeah.
I start throwing. I throw rocks at their cops. I protest, piss in their streets, burn their vehicles, and then I call the Mexican president a racist. But I ain't even supposed to be over there.
That's what I'm saying, fam. You know what's crazy too? I want to say something. I understand that people don't like Trump, right? I understand that when they was going through it, Kamala and Trump, when they was fighting for the presidency again, some people was on Kamala, some people was on Trump's side. But at the end of the day, I'm an American first, fam. So I don't care if Scooby-Doo won the presidency. I'm gonna support the nigga. Yeah, because I want the best interest for my country. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just me. But I got a question for you, being a man that was in the military. When you seen them waving them flags like that, because that caught my attention so quick. I was like, why the fuck? Like, you want to be over here, but it's 30 of y'all with the Mexican flag. I thought they was waging war. That's what I thought, fam.
I mean, I'm all for peaceful protest. Like, according to the Constitution, you can protest, right? So, go and protest. You know what I'm saying? But when you, like I heard you playing that clip for that Florida sheriff. But when you start, this is what a lot of people ain't realizing too. This started because, okay, now think about this. The CIA, the FBI, Homeland Security, military, DEA, all of them, right? They're all considered federal employees, right? And even ICE. The ICE agents are federal, not government, not state, not city, not county, but they're federal employees. So when they went to go do some of their raids and pick up not illegal immigrants, but they're really just focusing on illegal immigrants that are committing crimes. They're not even focusing on necessarily illegal immigrants. In some aspects, right? Yeah. We want the ones that commit crime. Like, bro, you got to go. Okay, so a federal agent, come in, serve their warrant or whatever, and these guys capture them and lock them in a building. Bro, you're not gonna get away with it. No. So that's when then government, like, man, you can't. That's like me and you, NC Hills, and we in Longhead come through the hood. And we take his car and take him and lock him up in one of the apartments in the hood. The whole KBD is coming.
Yeah.
You cannot do that, right? Those are federal agents. Whether you disagree with them or not, you cannot capture federal agents.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's taking it too far, and that's a sign that they ain't prepared like they need to be. Also.
And what bothers me is Governor Newsom and Karen Bass. They should have said, you know what, y'all can't do that. You can protest, but you can't do that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then this is what I hate about riots and protests. Well, I respect protests, but this is what I hate about riots. I hated this with George Floyd. Bro, if you love where you live, bro, don't destroy it, bro. Quit looting the buildings, quit burning the streets, quit tearing down the buildings. Because your auntie, your uncle, your mama, your daddy, your cousins, they work in those communities. And it's already hard out here. And so now you're taking jobs away from the people that work in it because you're burning it down. Like,
Yeah.
why would you burn down your community if you loved your community?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't understand that when the Black Lives Matter things was going on, fam. I just
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
yeah.
That makes no sense.
What is like, what is the mind frame of a person who is that anger or something, fam? Because I really can't understand it, like tearing up stuff. I
It's
don't.
all ignorance, bro.
Yeah.
It's the victim mentality. Woe is me.
Mhm.
Like, you're not in the right. You're illegally here. You know that. I know that. I don't know that, but you know that.
Yeah.
You know you're in this country illegal. You know if you committed a crime. You know, et cetera, et cetera. But the crazy thing is, there's a way for you to be here legally. Just go fill out the paperwork and go through the process. They're not gonna kick you off. They're not gonna kick you out while your paperwork is being routed through the system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not gonna do that.
But you just got to show that you're trying.
Trying. Yeah, get your name in the system.
Yeah, because I think we are probably the most lenient country on immigration rules and laws and regulations. Because when you go to them other places with your passport, they want to know when you're leaving before you even.
Right. Yeah. Like why? Yeah. Why you here when you leave?
Right before you get out of the airport when you're leaving. Yeah. Damn. How you?
Yeah, and you dang sure can't move here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It was a lady I seen that had been over here illegally for 25 years, done raised a family and everything. They sent her.
She knew it though. She knew it.
You seen that too, didn't you?
I did, but it's like, and then I get it. We sympathetic to the kids, the women, etc. But you knew you've been over here that long, and man, come on, bro.
It's sympathy and empathy, a feminine trait that we have been programmed upon, fam. Sympathizing with illegals. Sympathizing with something that is illegal, though.
Man, it's like this, man. You know, it's kind of like in a system, right? You have, like, when you're selling drugs or when you're committing murders, right? You have violent crimes, you have non-violent crimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your crime. Now, non-violent crimes tend to get less time than violent crimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still committed a crime, and I feel bad for you. But you did the crime, you got to do the time, whatever time that is. You know the consequences. If you've been over here 20 plus years, you know the rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hate to see that for anybody, but it's not fair to the people who did it right. It's not fair to the taxpayers, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to skate around laws and you want to basically neglect the authority that is above you. We all follow the authority. Like, come on, man. And then we want to play victim, and then we want to crowd the internet. I get it, and I can see how people can sympathize and feel empathy, because I do too. But I'm not wishing bad on you. But if they say, hey, we're going to deport you, if it's a situation like that, but you still can come back, just go through the proper channels, then I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Me too. You still can come back. A couple of weeks ago, Trump was trying to $1,000 deport yourself.
Right. Yeah.
When I seen that, fam, on the media and all over the place, $1,000 for you to deport yourself, I said, "Oh shit, about to get real here in the next couple of weeks."
People thinking short term, and they're not thinking long term. And what I mean by that is the world is changing. And so America has been I consider the number one nation as far as the financial system and the military and the way we live culturally and economically for years. That's why they can say what they want, but everybody is trying to model how we do it here in America. A lot of people want to come here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're number one, if you were the Niners in the 80s, if people are coming after you, they're studying you.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to figure out where your weak spots are at. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't continue to strengthen yourself, the enemy is going to gain traction. And it's only going to hurt the people.
Yeah.
And the next generation. So not only are we trying to stay number one, but we're trying to be
Evolve.
competitive against
Yeah.
we're trying to elevate and evolve because the world is changing, technology is changing, AI is changing, so we're trying to keep up with the times as well.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's I agree with you because if you ain't evolving, to me in life, you're dying. And
You're dying.
looking at these countries now, they trying to take this land and folks ready for war. And I just seen the war. I don't know if that's a war yet. I know they bombing over there, Israel and Iran and stuff though. But the world is serious right now, and America need to tighten up. 10 years from now, people gonna be actually happy that Kamala didn't win because the things
Yeah.
that's going on, it needs somebody that's radical, somebody that is strength and is going to be making some crazy decisions to make a change because this shit serious right now to me, fam. Super
And you
serious.
need somebody who is willing to be unliked because leadership ain't always popular, right?
Mhm.
If you're a parent, right? It ain't you're not your child, you're not your child's friend, you're their parent, and they ain't gonna always like you, but you're trying to lead them into prosperity, into a righteous lifestyle, into to the betterment, so they can be a citizen of society. So same thing with leadership, right? You're trying to lead a whole nation, and everybody is not going to agree with you.
Most
And
definitely.
somebody got to say no, because men, we can talk about relationship. Men have a hard time telling our woman no, but we got to be able to say no. We're not doing that. No, that's not beneficial for us. No, that's not going to benefit America. And we are going to put America first. We're not putting Europe first. We're not putting Israel first. We're not putting any of our allies first. We're going to put America first.
Yeah, all
And
people.
somebody has to do that, and it ain't going to be popular. And
Yeah.
I can respect Trump for doing that. And I ain't a big Trump fan, but
Yeah.
I can respect him doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it can be very unpopular at the time with some, but it will be beneficial for the nation in the long run.
I agree with you in totality, fam. And you know something that I've learned, like I heard you when you said I'm not a big Trump fan. Something that I've learned over my time from creating content, fam, is that I don't agree in totality with nobody on the planet. If I'm
Me
going
either.
to remove a person or not listen to a person because I disagree with you in one area, that don't make you the problem. That make me the problem. Because I can
Right.
learn from a 3-year-old. I can learn from a racist. I can learn from an idiot. I can learn from a junkie
Mm-hmm.
having a conversation. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, awareness is more important than me agreeing with what somebody say. So, I don't dislike nobody. I'm trying to learn from people, fam. And I just want to make a platform for people to be able to speak, for us to learn from each other and us to have a voice, man. I
Yeah, I'm
appreciate you,
saying.
fam. You know I appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Thank you for
Have
your
a good
time,
one.
family. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, bye.
Oh, Lord. Hey, that was my dog called into the show, man. That was my dog called into the show. I wish my hand clap sound right. Tell me, hey, if y'all checking out the show, tell me how my hand clap sound. Is my hand claps crispy or are they trash? Now, I want to get back to this clip before we further the discussion and play some more of the debate because this clip was eye-opening to me of this sheriff in Florida.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
Hey, thank y'all for telling me how my hand claps sound. One thing I don't know how to do when I'm doing live shows is get the sound effects and everything crispy coming from the Rodecaster Pro to the MacBook. I know how to do it when I'm you know what I'm saying, doing pre-records, but when I'm doing live, this shit sound awful. But let me get back to the conversation because it's necessary. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sonic Boom TV, Avatar, Terrence Lubbert, man. Thank you for tuning in. Patricia Pitts, salute. Thank you for tuning in again and supporting me. Guy Jackson, trash. Hey, I agree with you, man. Let's talk about this officer for a minute, though, because when I listened to him speak and how reckless he was speaking, I was like, damn, is that like against the law, him talking like that, saying what he gonna do? Y'all gonna be running, you gonna be bleed, we gonna have to hurt somebody, you chase me down, you're gonna be leaving in the hospital, I might have to kill one of you. That's what I heard. So my boy, Florida boy Jay, he hit me up. He was talking about the qualified immunity in Florida. And you know, that's where Trump located at. Also, he lives there, but qualified immunity is a state-based thing. Every state doesn't have qualified immunity. So I started doing my research, and we're going to get back to the debate in a minute, but I want to read to y'all what qualified immunity is so we can understand it if you don't understand it, because I didn't understand it by definition. I kind of knew what it meant, but I didn't know by definition. So qualified immunity is a legal doctrine that shields government officials from liability in civil lawsuits. So they're not liable in civil lawsuits. So that's financial. That's not criminal. So if they do one of these acts to where they harming somebody and doing something against us criminally, then they can still be liable for criminal actions. But by this definition, it says that they're not liable in civil lawsuits. So you can't affect their retirement. You can't affect their finances, their stocks or whatever, if they do something outrageous. Now it says, unless their conduct violates clearly established statutory or constitutional rights, and there is no factual dispute that the official's conduct was objectively unreasonable. Essentially, it protects officials from being sued for actions taken in their official capacity, unless those actions were clearly illegal at the time they were taken. So let's get back to the debate, man, with Anton Daniels and this brother that I'm just now becoming aware of. I think his name is Delano Squires or something like that. And it was on Jason Whitlock's platform. They was having a great discussion, man. Let's get back to the discussion and let me be quiet for a minute.
If you employ people who are here illegally, you're going to get arrested. Your company is going to get fined. I mean, these are things that, again, politicians could do.
Hold up. We got folk tapping in now. What's popping? Is this my dog from Michigan, man?
What's happening, man?
What's good with you, my brother, man? What's good with you?
Hey, man, I'm just sitting up, man. I came across your live, man. I don't know. I think we're a little behind. I think I'm behind on your video.
Okay.
But I know you were just talking to the gentleman that was, you guys were looking at the video from the Florida, I think it was a Florida sheriff. This is the thing. You know, Florida don't play. They on some good old boys down there.
Yeah.
And you know they not playing. And I'm surprised that they got as far as much as they got away with it in Dallas, because they said they were protesting in Dallas. You know, and I just think that these people just like, I don't want to say these, but you got to be the most ungrateful MFs on earth to come to a country and defend illegal people. Because some, you know, like people from Mexico that's really like from Mexico, the illegals, when they see American-born, American-grown Mexicans, they look down on them because they say they're not true Mexicans.
That's true. That is true.
And now you're sitting up here, you don't know if America, did you see the one video where they said, hey, we got cameras, we know what people, we seeing people, we got cameras. They've been catching people on camera helping other people because they were giving people, you know, some Mexicans were giving illegals or helping them out with, they was even giving them shrapnel or something like that in masks. And they arrested a few people out there in LA for this, man. And you got to think, don't mess up with what you got for somebody that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Now I heard like Dennis Sperling and Brother Phil Scott say,
Yeah.
hey, you guys have broke up a lot of black families in America, you know, with all the screwed up crimes you put on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, our family members, you messed it up. You separate us from our families.
Mm-hmm.
You make them come see us for 1 hour, and I'm in Michigan. When you go to prison, I'm down here near Detroit.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that I know that go to prison, they at least 4, 5, 6 hours away. So they family only get a chance to see them once a week for maybe 1 hour. But long story short, these people, like you say, I think the guy was talking about somebody who was there for 25 years. She was illegal.
Man, that's crazy.
And she had kids, right?
Yeah, and she still is illegal to this day. Like, she still didn't get her stuff situated, but you had 25 years, and now that you got sent back across the border, you want some sympathy. Keep cooking, my brother.
Okay, but wait a minute. What you been doing for 25 years? If you had a job that you were paying taxes on, that's a confusing thing right there. If you've been working for 25 years, do you get some kind of Social Security for your pension from a job that you work, or what?
See,
you don't have children here in America,
mm-hmm.
They can go see you. They can make it work. They can send money back home to her.
Yeah.
And she's still free to move and go about.
Mm-hmm. Now,
if she got 25 years of savings, she could buy a nice home in Mexico.
Yeah, if she got some savings or some 401k or something, but
right.
if she's been over here illegally obtaining that, can they take that away from her though?
Right.
That's
I have no.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Now my question I want to ask you though, I want to ask you this question. What is the role of black people in the LA immigration riots? What do you
stay out the way?
Okay.
Stay out the way.
Okay.
We have no role in it. We were dumb. We were lazy. You built up something in America, in the American system that we could not build up. Mm-hmm. And basically, you got more rights to build up companies and, this and everybody can step over us in America. Mm-hmm. So we were the ones that was lazy. We was the one that something we ain't doing right.
Yeah.
So why should you come to us if we're not so smart and we're pretty lazy? Why should you come to us and ask us for help? It's like they say they want us to step in front and be a test dummy and get shot up or something, or go to jail for them. No. We doing what we doing. Mm-mm. Keep it right there. You know what I'm saying? Sit at home on the couch.
I advise all black folk, stand down.
Yeah. And this is the thing. They haven't really stepped in. Like they said, the Marines was supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. You know who the Marines are?
I don't think that the Marines are standing on business like they're capable of.
Exactly, and you know who they are. Those are next cops that you be seeing putting, choking us out and doing that. Mm-hmm. The Marines, that's who the next. So keep poking the bear. You're gonna get some casualties, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I just seen on your screen that they said somebody they were protesting in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. That's a red state. Come on. Yeah. Once it gets all over like that, it's going to be kind of, they're going to see what we've been telling them about. Mm-hmm. They think they have rights, but when I say to people that's legally here, don't mess up what you got for the ones that's not legal. Mm-hmm. That's really just don't mess up what you got for the ones that's not legal. Now, did you hear the little lady from Minnesota? She just got assassinated.
Nah, I didn't hear anything about that.
She was a Democrat, mm-hmm. and she was one of the last deciding votes on whether to stop Medicaid and Medicare benefits for illegals. Her and her husband got assassinated.
I didn't hear nothing about that. You're going to make me do some research about that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Representative from Minnesota. And they tried to attempt to take another representative, him and his wife, but they're surviving. They're going through surgery. I think they survived surgery.
I got a question for you, though. Are they the representative only for Minnesota or for the whole nation?
No, they're for Minnesota, but they're Democrats. But they kind of flipped the bill on, hey, we're not gonna, because Minnesota's pretty much I believe it's a Democrat state, and they're pushing this. They want to pay for immigrants, Medicaid and Medicare, but I think those two representatives said no, and I think they were the last vote to say no Medicare or Medicaid for migrants or illegal migrants or whatever.
You know what's crazy though, fam? Like I hate to stop you because you cooking and you informing me on some things. But what's crazy to me is that, the people over here illegally, why don't they just send them back as soon as they know that they're illegal? It's crazy to me that they give them housing in the most expensive cities and states, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. They give them benefits, food stamps. They take care of them, give them stipend money and all of this. When we are trillions of dollars in debt as a country as a whole. And a lot of people think just because the country is in debt that they ain't in debt. I feel like I take the brunt of that debt because now everything that I want to purchase is high also. So it's just interesting to me. If I was the president and you over here doing things illegal, I can't keep punishing my people that's legally over here and not punishing you. That's just crazy to me, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, because see, then it's not a black thing or a white thing or an Asian. It's an American thing, man. And we was born and raised here, man. We was born and raised here. And I mean, we were brought here. Our parents, our grandparents, we've been paying taxes for years. And the thing is too, now you got to remember this too. The Democrats, they were accused, especially in California, they were trying to expedite citizenship for illegal immigrants so that they could vote.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't
look that one up. Yeah.
Trying to expedite citizenship. So they was trying to lower the qualifications and we could just get you.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's what Kamala was going to do when she became president. And see, that's what they were going to do. That's what the Democrats were going to do. Their next go around. They're going to, because we're starting to get the light bulb starting to go off from black folks' heads now. We're going to be replaced. That's what the thing was.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be replaced.
And they're going to replace us
by immigrants.
Replace us and trash the country while they're replacing us.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, man. And it's I'm just waiting to see how this fold out, man. I just want to see these people, to be honest with you, I want to see these people humble. Seriously.
Yeah.
I want to see them appreciate black.
Yeah.
And what we really done. Do they realize what we've done for them, or do they not know? Or do they know anything about the Civil Rights Bill of '64? Do they know anything about the Civil Rights Act?
Yeah.
Or do they not know? Or do they know that blacks are really responsible for you being able to come to America? Because before the '60s, not too many people were able to come here.
They know because they're trying to use them 13th and 14th Amendments for their benefit, but that was original for African descendants of slavery, the 13th and 14th Amendment.
Because even Trump said that. He said the 14th Amendment was for descendants of slaves, not for anchor babies and people who snuck over here. Yeah. Because, Trump, he even talking about us going as far as even getting rid of some of the anchor babies. That's what he was saying. Yeah. That's what he hinted at. Yeah, that's way how this 4 years plays out. And I don't think we got no turn coming up, everybody thinking, what you think we're going to do, start marching for you because you're saying we're next? We've been there. No, you're next. It's your turn now. We don't head ours.
Yeah,
they don't done everything they could do to us, man.
That's true. They can't even do nothing else to us, man. We still traumatized from the 50s and 60s and inherited.
Exactly.
We done inherited the trauma. Man.
They haven't gotten nearly close to what we've gotten, and that's the thing. And that's why, people on this anti-reparation thing, man, y'all can go with it. You can say what you want to say. Hey, you know what? You kept us back, and you purposely kept us back. So I'm all for reparations every day, all day. I don't care who or whatever says, because, a lot of people that's not for reparations, especially blacks, it's mostly the ones that already got, the haves. They don't want the have-nots to have. So, and then it's black immigrants and, then of course the other folks. So
But that's that's my stand, man. I just was calling in, man. I ended up
So,
scrolling past you, man.
hey,
And I said, let me holler at my man.
I appreciate you, man, for supporting me and tapping into the show every time, man. Thank you.
Oh
Your
yeah,
perspective is highly appreciated, my brother.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry if I was kind of all over the place for a minute.
It's cool, man. When you call in, the floor is yours. You got as much time and everything as you need, fam. You know, over here, I like to learn from the people. I could
Right,
agree or
right,
disagree with you. If I disagree, it's a learning process for me. It's not me to be able to
right,
judge a person based upon that. It's just a learning process.
right.
But thank you for your time, family.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good night, man. I'm still alive with you, so. But all right, man. I'm pretty sure you got other callers, man.
Thank you,
So
sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir. Man, I will hit my claps for my dog because he came in cooking from Michigan. He put us up on game on the last podcast also about the real estate in Michigan and talking about how it's booming. It's if you invested in Michigan, man, you got some money. But I want to read Lynn's comment because Lynn left a good comment. You know, for some reason, these comments small down here. She says, Democrat wants illegals so they can have a one-party system so they can keep all the power and change this country to a Marxist communist country. I don't know much about Marxists, to be honest with you, but I've been hearing a lot of people speak about it a lot, and I'm trying to learn about it. Tell me, Lynn, what information or what books or do you have any YouTube channels or anything that you suggest that I listen to so I can learn about Marxism? I done heard a lot about it. I done had a lot of callers call in talking about Marxism, but it wasn't anything of my interest because you know, capitalism is it's a reason why these people trying to come over here and be a part of the capitalist society. My perspective, you know. So I don't know much about Marxism and communism and all of that old type of stuff because it's not of my interest. I'm in a capitalist society. I embrace capitalism. Let these brothers cook for a minute, y'all, and then I would highly appreciate it if y'all called in to give y'all perspective. You see the number right below me. If you want to give your take, call into the show. You're greatly appreciated.
But there's a reason that I think the problem has continued to metastasize over the years. And what I'm saying is this is largely a bipartisan problem. Now, if you want to make the argument that feminism encourages women to display empathy to people that they should not display empathy to, I would agree with you 100%. And that may speak to some of the people who take to the streets. What I'm saying is I don't necessarily see the thread or see that as the core of why over the course of the last couple of decades, you've had tens of millions of people enter the country illegally, and neither political party show a willingness to do anything about it. That's the point that I was making. Not a point about BLM.
But again, I think that you're off because, again, the reason why I asked you when it switched is because I believe that if you look at the Democrat Party today and you look at it of yesteryear, even from the boomer generation, again, it's a completely different party. The foundation, who it is that they market themselves to is the most important thing. They don't market themselves to men. They don't market themselves to people that ultimately make decisions that's in the best interest of the country. They market themselves to people that more or less align with a feminist or a feminism and their ideologies, which is the LGBTQ community, which is women that largely is taking a larger role in what happened from a political perspective. They are marketing more women in order to become a part of all of our legislative branches. You do see the rise of a Kamala Harris, which is being pushed on us, not something that we absolutely voted for. You did see the rise of Bill Clinton's wife. I don't even want to say her name because I don't really care for her that much. You see feminism taking over the liberal party, which is largely playing a role in how it is that we're operating from a societal perspective. So if you're saying that—
Let me jump in here for a quick second. Let me jump in for a quick second. And keep me, Delano, and Anton on screen if possible. But as Richard Steele, the referee, I just want to jump in and say that the reason why I lean to Anton's direction is I'm just stating a fundamental truth. Men settle differences, and it may be ugly, and someone may die in settling their differences. And it's unfortunate when it goes to that length. But when it's a group of men arguing, eventually it comes to a conclusion. Once you inject women, and people are less likely to be aggressive with women, kill women, settle something, because it's always a compromise. Because a lot of times men are sitting there thinking, my sex life is riding on reaching a compromise decision with this woman. When it's a group of men and there's no sexual ramifications to settling things, things tend to get settled. I think what Anton is arguing, and it's certainly something I believe, you inject women into all this leadership stuff and they have a say, the fights never end, nothing gets settled. There is no, hey, I'm the head of this family and I know that you don't like this, but this is what we're doing.
I want to give a take to that, but if you called into the show from Dayton, Ohio, I'm about to call you back. I'm sorry I missed your call, but I'm going to call you back here after I get my take on this, and I'm going to pose a question, and I want to know what everybody's thoughts is in the chat. I believe that women can participate in leadership. I do believe that, me personally, but it's certain roles in leadership that I feel as if they shouldn't participate in because emotions and feelings need to be left out of the situation in totality. And that's something that's challenging for women to do, my perspective. I ain't saying that I'm right on that, but at the end of the day, I'm saying that women should be left out of certain leadership roles because feelings and emotions need to be left out of that.
What's going on, Trevor?
What's going on, man? Who am I speaking with, fam?
LaFerris, man, from Dayton, bro.
Oh, man,
How you
what's
doing?
popping? What's popping with you, my guy, man? How you been doing, man?
Man, been good, man. Been good, brother. Watching the news, man. Watching this wild stuff going on, man. It's just retarded.
Tell me what you've been watching on the news, though, before you give your perspective on the topic, because I'm going to pose the question to me. But tell me what you've been watching, fam.
Oh, man. Really, what I'm saying? The whole riots and what's going on with the immigrants and all that.
Yeah.
It's just wild, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? But I think, you know what I'm saying, it's always a bigger game going on over in Israel and Iran. They supposed to be about to go to war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of big stuff going on in the world right now. This is like a distraction type thing, but I mean, it need to be done though. It need to be done. They need to get the hell out of the country. You know what I'm saying? Because they over here, because I listen to the show, man. I'm listening to the one guy on there talking about, man, or you was talking about the lady that was over here for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about that is, you over here for 25 years and you ain't got she under the table the whole 25 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if she did have a 401k or something like that, I mean, you know what I'm saying, somebody was letting that slide.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else was contributing to something illegal also.
Right. You know what I'm saying? All these places that they hiring these people, they know they're illegal, but they don't care. Here in Dayton, Ohio, man, you go down to this baking place or whatever they make bacon, and it ain't nothing but Mexicans in there. Man, they ain't legal. They ain't legal. They paying them under the table, man.
Can I ask you something? Should the company be held responsible for that?
Absolutely. It's no question, bro. I mean, but that's getting into the money part. They always stop it. You know what I'm saying, with the immigration, because immigration always been a big deal, but they always put a face on it to act like they doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go back to Clinton, then Bush, same way, then Obama, same way, man. Trump came in and he, on his first term, his first 4 years, he was kind of light on that.
Yeah.
But he knew he was gonna wait for to come back in 2020 if he would have won that. That was the plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To get what's going on now, kick him out, get him out of here.
Building the
You
wall.
know, but
He ain't even talking about building a wall no more. He just is sending the military, get him gone.
the military, he bringing in the Marines. The Marines are, you know, they follow orders. That's all they do. So it's not about, you know, once they really deployed and everything, I think he got them over there on standby or some, you know, but if once they kick up and have to do what they got to do, they're going to do it, you know, but, hey man, but what Anton was talking about on there about the women, I didn't really think about it, you know, but he right. You know what I'm saying? As far as women, it's basically, you know what I'm saying, if you peak game, like you got Maxine Waters, my mom, 80 years old. I think that lady probably be the same age. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine my mom going out there fighting with people, trying to get in buildings and trying to, you know what I'm saying, just arguing about something so wrong. And it's so wrong because it's up because they know that it's wrong. People can't see, if people can't see that what's going on, you know, the Democrats doing all kind of wild stuff. I know I'm all over the place, but the man said that about the lady.
You're doing a hell of a job. You're giving me ideas. I got questions to ask you right when you finish, but keep cooking, my brother.
But the lady up in Minnesota that got killed, man, and she was, you know what I'm saying, obviously it looked like she was threatened. Bro, she looked like she was threatened when she was doing a little press conference after she voted the way she voted. And she knew that it was going to be backlash coming towards her way, but it wasn't just from the voters. It was something else was going on because she ended up dead. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then two other senators, you know what I'm saying, got shot up, or another crazy senator and they spouse getting shot. I mean, but where is that coming from? I mean, allegedly, I think it's coming from the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? Because the Democrats are literally out here, you know, blaming everything on Trump. Because it's kind of funny, though, when he was running for office, it was all about law and order, obey the law. You know what I'm saying? And now he's using the law to get these people illegal. They're illegal. You know what I'm saying? That's never, everybody, the migrant, probably the migrant. No, illegal. Yeah. It's always, that's the first word. You know what I'm saying? In the whole situation, man. Because it's crazy. Like, man, they just letting this go. You know, pastor at church. I'm always talking about my pastors at church, man. Always bringing up Trump. Executive orders. Oh my God, it's the end, man. Yeah. Fear and God don't occupy the same space, man. They tripping.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But that's God, though. But that's how they do in church, though. I mean, but y'all in church, man, because they getting money from the government. Because they sound just like Maxine Waters and all the other Democrats. That's, you know, they losing. The gig is up, man. It's up, man.
Yeah. I gotta pose a question for you too, though, because you started talking about, you got away from it though, but you sparked my interest back into the debate conversation that Anton and this brother that I'm just now being aware of was having on my boy's Fearless channel, his Fearless podcast or whatever. So they was talking about like being in political leadership positions, females are more sympathetic and empathetic to anything, but that's just their natural, you know what I mean, habitat. Being nice, being loving, being caretakers, taking care of people, that's a woman's natural trait. So they was talking about that's a form of feminism, like being a feminist or whatever, doing that. And that's why leadership don't need to be had in certain areas, because you can't be full of emotions, full of feelings and sympathetic and empathetic to people. That is illegal. That shit a little crazy a little bit though. And I just can relate to that, my opinion though. But the question that I want to pose to you before you land your plane or dock your yacht or whatever, that's the new saying that the young brother's saying, land your plane was last year, now it's dock your yacht. But my question to you is, what is the role that black people should portray in these Los Angeles immigration riots?
All right, bro. There's no role we should play in it at all.
Yeah.
It's not our fight.
Yeah.
It literally isn't our fight, man.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as the women being more sympathetic and everything, yeah, that's you know, yeah, they are, and it's not, and that's women, man. You know what I'm saying? Going to church, man. How many black men are in the church compared to women?
Yeah.
You know, sympathy. You know, it's just they are, you know what I'm saying, they wired like that. So, but I don't, but the truth is coming out. It's like there's too many people that's not falling for it. So, you know, they can have all these women up there. They just gonna look bad because some woman black lady got arrested. That was a Congress person for the government. And for she congresswoman or whatever, fighting the ICE detention or whatever. And it's like, and she hit one of the guys and going in or whatever. They suing her. They, you know what I'm saying, they bring you forth whatever charges they're gonna bring towards it. But she emotional.
Yeah. Led with emotion.
You know.
She was led by emotions and ended up in jail.
There you go. There you go. Hey man, I stopped the Chevy real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the yacht plane, but I'm getting out the Chevy, man, real quick, man. Hey man,
Salute,
I like your show, bro. I love y'all brothers, man, for real, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for always supporting us, man. Your presence is appreciated, family.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one, man.
You too.
Bye.
You too. Hey, I got a couple of more topics, man, that I want to discuss. I'm gonna continue to play this though, but I want to read out something that the rapper The Game, he put on Instagram about the situation. You know, he's a Californian, and I talk about The Game a lot with his hip hop contribution and the comparisons and verses and all of that old type of stuff though. But before I talk about The Game, I want to continue on with this debate and see what Anton and this other brother's response is. Delano. His name is Delano Squires. So I want to see what his response is to what was said from Jason Whitlock. Let's get it.
It's just an endless thing. And so what I think Anton is somewhat arguing, I don't want to put words in his mouth, is like, hey, back when women weren't really into politics, Democrats and Republicans actually used to have fights and settle things when it was just a group of men, because men sit there and just logically, and I look at, we are just overflowing with empathy to the point we can't, as Black people, it's very difficult for us to say, hey man, George Floyd, he brought that on himself. If we dialed the clock back 50 years, everybody Black would be. They had a saying back in Indianapolis when my mother and father were growing up about dogs and ninjas that chase cops end up dead, and that you go chase a cop car, you're gonna end up dead. And that's what I saw when I look at George Floyd. I was like, man, this dude was chasing a cop car. And I'm not surprised he's dead, and I'm going to keep it moving. Instead, we all have all this empathy for George Floyd, and we all pretend like that could be us. That could happen to me. And there's not one thing that happened to George Floyd that I ever thought could happen to me. I'm not going to be passing fake $20 bills. I'm not going to be high on fentanyl somewhere. Police tell me to get in the back of the car. I'm going to get in the back of the car, and I'm going to drive. None of it could I relate to. But we all went around with this empathy, and some woman shot it on her cell phone, and everybody feels sorry for George. I don't feel sorry for Jacob Blake. I do feel sorry for Breonna Taylor because she had a simp for a boyfriend to let her get out of bed and go chase a cop car, and she wound up dead like a dog and some of these dumb ninjas that love to chase cop cars. Anyway, I'm going to let y'all go. Anton, if you can briefly, have I misrepresented what you said? Do it briefly and throw the microphone back to Delano so he can respond.
I don't think you misrepresenting what I'm saying. I'm just saying that at the foundation, if you want to solve for a problem, I just think that you got to get to the root cause of the issue. I think that we putting lipstick on a pig a lot of times, just only looking at it on the surface. And I think that the foundation of what's wrong with this country And the foundation of what's wrong with both parties a lot of times is that we pander to, we acquiesce to, and we do not truly get to the root cause of the issue, which I think that a lot of it is rooted in feminism and the fact that women now have the ability to choose for themselves. And the more freedom that they've had, the more often they've chosen wrong. And we decided to follow them as a country and as a nation.
Delano.
No, I mean, again, the general analysis, I don't disagree with. What I'm hesitant to do, Jason, is to fall into one of the left's traps, right? So if we were watching a panel of Black progressives, whatever issue you could find in the Black community, they're going to say, well, this is caused by racism. And they will give you sort of a long analysis, a historical analysis, and say, look, all these things was caused by racism. And the thing that we see today, so whether that's the breakdown in our families or poor school outcomes or poor health outcomes or gentrification or any other issue that they come up with, they're going to say this is caused by racism and white supremacy. And what I'm saying is, like, I'm hesitant to do that with any issue, you know, and to say this one thing is the cause of all these other things. Now, again, I can analyze it and say in certain instances, absolutely. In other instances, it's a little bit more of a stretch. So that's the only point that I was making on
Like
this.
what? Give me an example.
An example of what specifically?
An example of why it would be a little bit more of a stretch or why it only slightly contributes to the issue.
As I said, like if we're talking about the state of the Black family and the issue is feminism, I say absolutely. I say feminism deceive women into thinking that they don't need a husband, to thinking that the home is a prison, to thinking that marriage is a tool of oppression, to thinking that their children are a burden, and that they are better off submitting to their boss than they are to their husband. That's easy, right? 99% overlap. Again, if you're talking about why immigration has gotten out of control, and certainly since I'd say the 1980s, I'd say to attribute that directly to feminism, I think is more of a stretch, because
So
there
you
are specific. Hold on, Anton. There's specific policy issues that are at play there, and as I said, you know you're going to have a problem you're going to have a problem when both parties have an incentive to do something. And one party has an incentive to invite more people in because they think they're going to get votes. And another party has an incentive to invite people in because they think they're going to get cheaper labor. And when you have that type of bipartisan issue and bipartisan consensus, people will talk a good game on the surface, but you're going to have a problem that becomes entrenched. So I see that as, I see the failures of our leaders. And I think me, you, and Zeke all have kids. We're both dad. All of us are dads. And I've used this analogy before, Jason, on the show. You know, my wife and I, we adopted her maternal cousin. When we told our kids that they're gonna get a new sister, they were happy. They were, oh yeah, we want a new sister. This is cool. This is great. If we told our kids, if we went back to our kids the next week and they said, okay, from here on out, from this week, for the next 3 years, every week we're going to adopt a new child. So after you know, a couple of years, you're gonna have 1,500 new siblings. Eventually, they're gonna say, you know what? I don't know that we have enough resources to go around, and they are going to resent they're going to resent the new children, where they should really point their resentment at us, and particularly at me as their father, for mismanaging my household. And that's the point that I'm making about political leadership, right?
But here's the thing, though.
I understand.
Here's the thing, though. What about throwing into that powder keg the fact that you're incentivized to be a single mother because you can then latch on to the government as your father, and that's one of the reasons why we continue to see children having children out of wedlock, right? If you're not, because you'll say, for example, well, you know, one party is incentivized to have more of these people over here, and so they can increase their voter base, and then on the other side, the other party is incentivized to go over here in order for us to have cheaper labor. Well, but one of the ways in which they're creating an environment where people are attached to the Democrat plantation for the rest of their life is the fact that all of us, most of us that grew up as Black people, we're told that we vote Democrat regardless of whether or not we lived conservative lives. We could be raised in church, we could be told a certain thing, so on and so forth, but we were told that the Democrats were for the poor and Republicans are for the rich, when in reality, Republicans are for smaller government and to remove the barrier entries for you to be able to do it yourself, and Democrats are for basically tying you to the government in order to incentivize you to do something based off of how they control the narrative, right? And so we weren't taught that as children, but one of the ways in which we continue to stay in this cycle of poverty and this cycle that continues to keep us on the Democrat plantation, which then forces people to vote a certain way, even though it's not in their best interest. You could talk to people all day long, and I can ask Black people, hey, do you support illegal immigration into the country? No. Do you support men playing in women's sport? No. Do you support, then why are you voting Democrat? And they say, because we're supposed to, and because Democrats are for the poor, and we don't want the billionaire class to get all of the tax breaks. Which
I need y'all to educate me on something. Because the root of the problem to me was when welfare was created. Instead of creating a structure to help people thrive, to me, that was a structure to keep people dependent. What government party created that? Because what they're talking about with feminism and the feminist movement and all of that, that was an addition that later along came along and contributed to what the damage that welfare had done to people already. To me, I grew up in a community. I talk about this a lot of times on my platform, but I want to talk about it live. And if y'all want to call into the show, let me remove Miss Mickey comment. And thank you, Miss Mickey, for always tuning in and supporting me. Call into the show. The phone number is right up under me. But I grew up in a community. You know, everybody's community is different. Black people are not a monolith. So the community I grew up in, majority of the people was receiving welfare. And it was a whole bunch of young boys and a few females or whatever, and we was all growing up living with our mothers. And it wasn't no fathers around. So I come from that welfare system that broke up the family structure. Women, like Miss Mickey says in this comment, no woman I know chose to be a single mother. For you to receive those government benefits or whatever, you had to remove the father from the household. So that's just interesting to me. She also say Reagan created the welfare system that removes the father from the home. Thank you, Miss Mickey. I needed to know that. I needed to know that so I could do my research and be able to converse further along about that, because that welfare system is the root of what they're talking about. Feminism and the feminist movement is an addition that has created more division. To me, that's what I think. Let me let them cook, though. I got one more topic after I let them continue on with their conversation. Then I'm going to get up off of this thing, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning into the show. Hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button to help me trigger the algorithm. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, man. We have dope discussions, and I'm not a person that try to speak at people, try to teach people, try to tell people things to do. I like to learn and get educated and give the people a voice so we can share knowledge together and just further the discussion and learn, man. That's just who I am as an individual. Let's go.
which is completely false. But how do they keep you in that narrative? How do they keep you thinking this way? They keep you that way because they don't incentivize strong families. They take care of you when you decide to have children out of wedlock. And if you tell them, hey, I don't know where my baby daddy is, you'll get an increase in food stamps, and you can then pass on Section 8 to the next generation, which basically keeps us in this cycle of poverty. So if you're telling me that feminism itself, which advocates for some of the very things that we are against as conservatives, and I don't know if you consider yourself adamantly a conservative or whatever, but if feminism itself is not in the very face, falling in the very face of the thing that we advocate against in order to keep our families together, but they're incentivizing you to keep the federal government as your daddy, which then feeds into all of the other issues that they package. It's like a bad a bad investment, a bad ETF that they put all together and they say, hey, you got to vote for this based off of this, even though the majority of it is not in your interest, how can you say that it's not at the foundation, that the very thing that keeps us in this cycle of poverty, when our mindset and our cultural norms and the things that we celebrate the most is directly tied to the way that we vote, which then gives all of these people the battery in their back to advocate for something just because they don't like Donald Trump. They're going to go out there and protest and say, I'm rocking with them because I don't like him. Most of the people that voted against Trump, that voted for the Democrat Party, they voted against Trump, not for their best interest for what it is that they were marketing to him. It's directly, indirectly, and directly tied to feminism, which breaks our families down and keeps people in this circle of poverty, that then they get on TikTok and they market to the rest of the nation that this is what makes sense to us as Black people, or this is what makes sense to poor people. It's directly tied.
I'm gonna hop in here because we got to land the plane. But this is fantastic. It's been fantastic. I'm gonna make a final point. And just because Delano, Anton has talked more than you, and me and Anton together have definitely talked more than you, I will give you a little final say. But I do want to say this, and this is what I believe, and this is why I'm polarizing, and this is why a lot of people are afraid of me. If we removed women from political office, trust me, we'd have a border wall and we wouldn't be having any of these conversations about all these illegal immigrants coming into this country. There'd be a handful of men that would be, yeah, no, we should open the border.
You know, I hate when, I agree that certain jobs shouldn't be led with emotions and feelings. But I hate when men, especially single men that date Caucasian women, sit up here and start bashing women and start talking about their capabilities and how, feminism this and feminism that. I hate that because I feel like women can be leadership in certain jobs. It's just only a few that I would disagree with. I want to read these comments to y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. But, when it comes to war and comes to presidents and all of that, I think that when you have to remove feelings and emotion out of it, then that's not a job for a woman. That's just my opinion. And I just don't like the way he's portraying women, though. It sounds a little bit too aggressive, like disregard them completely. They shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't be doing that. When men be out here acting all emotional and shit, look at this fat ass nigga on the screen, man, talking all reckless to the women. Let me read Miss Mickey comment, though, because he pissed me off a little bit. I don't know where my baby daddy is the excuse. They use that kept the government for coming for his paycheck and off child support. Okay, Miss Mickey. So let me read what President 48, the United States. Have we made it to 48 yet, fam? Salute to you if you win it, though. I want to be a part of your campaign, man. How can I contribute to helping you win? Black people have no community structure or in-house financial resources to help or save another group of people from immigration crisis in the United States right now. So mind your business, okay? It's not worth it. I hate to say we don't have no community, but it's true. And the reason it's true is because they destroyed our communities, the ones like that was created in Wilmington, North Carolina, and Tulsa, and St. Petersburg, Florida. And we don't have no community by definition of what a community is. And you're right, though, too, President 48. Them asking for us to assist them in Los Angeles is complete foolishness when they attacking us in prisons and trying to kill us and grouping up against us and saying that we aren't this and that and talking bad on our name. I don't think that we should contribute to their fight at all. Illegals. It ain't even the Hispanic people or the Latino people or the Mexican people. It's illegals. Like, I really ain't standing with my own people if you contributing to illegal activities, because I don't want to be tied in with what you got going on. So ain't no way I'm going to contribute to what they got going on illegally. Shitting me. I ain't about to do no time for you. That system makes some people lazy. That's very true. That welfare system. It makes a high percentage of the people lazy. My opinion. I don't know what Buddy talking about. Ball State Jason D line. I don't know what that means. And we would be at war with everyone. Reagan was not the president in the 70s. That's true. Reagan came after Carter, but he was responsible for transforming all the social programs. I'm getting ready to do some research on Ronald Reagan. What my boy LaFar is talking about. The men not being in the home mandate was happening in the 70s. With welfare. That happened in the 70s. So you're saying that Miss Mickey is wrong. I think that's what you're trying to say. That she was wrong saying that Reagan created the welfare system. You're saying that the men not being in the home mandate was happening in the 70s. But was that mandate a part of the welfare structure system though? Because I think what she's talking about is the welfare system was created by him. I think y'all having two totally different conversations. LaFarris, what's popping, man? Thank you for calling in too on this show. The welfare system was started in 1935. Damn. Now we all over the place now, y'all. It was for white people. The white people of that day didn't want black people to get it. 1935. You know, I got to do my research on that because I don't know if it was specifically for white people, but even the welfare system that's going on currently and has been going on since whenever it was altered or whatever, it's still specifically for white people. We complain about it because our concerns is us and all people. We concerned with us. So by us being concerned with us, we're going to speak about the effects that is having on us. I could be, but I don't agree with people online. I feel you. Me neither. To be honest with you, I do these conversations because I'm trying to learn and I want to have a dope conversation with my people that support me and my channel. But I don't tongue wrestle with niggas online. This ain't even the real world. You know, I feel like that debate that they had was a great debate. I want to talk about one more topic and I want to include hip hop in this topic because with this stuff happening in LA, the Game had made a post in support of illegals, the rapper The Game. And I want to read this post to y'all and I want y'all to tell me y'all thoughts in the comment section or call in. I'll accept one more caller to call into the show before I get off of here because I got to tend to my loved one. And I just want to know y'all thoughts about this topic. So The Game says, ever since I could remember, it's been black and brown in this city. From the early days of my childhood till now, we've been side by side through it all of us, all the time. Not always seeing eye to eye, but we shared Los Angeles for a very long time. I stand with y'all like I know you stand with us. We might fight against each other, but I promise you this, we'll burn this down if you get us pissed. To live and die in LA. You know, that sound cute and shit. Until the hot damn Marines come out that thing. That sound cute, gang. Black and brown. Y'all stand with us. We've been side by side. We've been through it all. It's us all the time. Stop, nigga. The difference is the black people was brought over here. You know, and we are connected to the soil. Even if some of us wasn't brought over here and we foundational to the land of America. The fact of the matter is nothing against the brown people that's over here legally. This isn't our fight because at the end of the day, they doing some illegal shit. It's cool if they was legal, man, but they doing some illegal shit. And The Game, that's foolishness, man. Go stand with them folks when the Marines come, nigga. See if you rocking with them illegals then. Research what Lyndon B. Johnson said about giving black people government assistance in the 60s. I know that one. I had you niggas voting Democrat for the next 100 to 200 years. Ain't that what he said, Lynn? Seemed like he was right about that. You know, the most powerful thing, and I want to close it out with a quote from Dr. Claude Anderson. He was saying if we don't unify, we don't tighten up and get our finances together as black people, I wonder if y'all know what he said. We'll be a permanent underclass. I hate that he said that because it's the truth. But I can't get that out of my mind because if you have children, you got to think that you're bringing them into a world where your people is the permanent underclass. I don't like that. That shit don't sound right, man. We just got to do what's best, man, and promote our people to live a healthy lifestyle. You know, try our best to unify with our loved ones, make sure that our family is whole, and continue to grow. I appreciate y'all tuning in to my show, man. Always. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and you know what time it is, man. I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.